What's going on, my fellow Patagonians? It's your boy, Mario Fama, RD, aka Yo soy blanco, pero no soy banco. Today I want to touch a topic with you. And I've touched on this topic before, and it's a constant topic that comes up on the Facebook groups when people are making comments. And what it is people ask often, what does it cost to live in the Dominican Republic? And that is such a loaded question because it depends on what kind of lifestyle, how many people in your family, your diet. Do you like to go out a lot? Do you like to drink? Do you want to travel all over the country and do things or whatever? So there are a lot of variables to that. To that question? Also, are you going to buy your property outright, or are you going to rent? Are you going to buy your car outright, or are you going to finance if you can? I mean, they do financing for foreigners, very few places, but it's super fucking expensive if you don't have credit here. It's expensive anyway, but it's like even more expensive if you don't. So, and what kind of car you're gonna drive is gonna get you around, whatever. Anyway, so the point is that that's a very loaded question, because you can live in Punta Cana where you're going to be paying, $1,500 to $2,000 a month rent, and that's not counting a house. That's some townhouse or like an apartment or something like that, right? And you could be paying 4 times the amount of electricity that you pay for in Miami, let's say, or in New York or something like that, right? Because theirs is super expensive. Or are you going to live in Santiago, and where you can get a nice, 3-bedroom apartment for $450 to $650 a month, but you have to buy all your own furniture and your own appliances. If you're looking for furnished in that city, you're going to pay more money. Are you looking to be in Piantini or Bellavista, where if it's a family of 3 and you need a 2-bedroom apartment, you're looking for at least like $1,300 to $2,200, depending on the kind of building that you want or whatever? Or are you going to go to San Isidro and live in Santo Domingo Este, which most expats don't do, and live in a residential there for 25,000 to 35,000 pesos, 40,000 a month? But then you're going to have to buy your own furniture again when the rent is lower. It's because you have to put your own furniture, your own electrodomesticals most of the time and stuff like that. So it's a very loaded question on what life costs here. But that's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is the comment that people say, well, it depends if you want to live like the US. What they mean when they say that is, if you want to live good, if you want to live in a place that you have 2 parking spots, a nice building, maybe security, maybe a pool, if you were going to live around, nice area and stuff like that. And the common misconception that people have is that that's only Americans live like that. Yes, we know Dominican Republic has a lot of poverty. Man, the United States has a shitload of poverty too. Have you guys been around? Have you seen it? Some of that shit still looks like third world, right? So that doesn't define the entire country. And though they have a lot of poverty here, they also have a lot of middle class. I don't care what the income they put out, the numbers, the average salary, bullshit. People here do tons of shit. Girls have 5 boyfriends and 3 of them in the United States and whatever, and 2 jobs, and dudes hustling a multi-service. The numbers on paper, it just doesn't. What I see people spending to live here, and the numbers that come out in all these reports about the middle income and all the medium income and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't correlate. The bar's being fucking full, and it doesn't matter if it's a poor neighborhood, middle class, or upper class, everything being full all the time. I mean, we got to remember there's like over $1 billion in remesas that comes into this country a year, most of it coming from the United States, right? So the numbers, what I see on the street and the way I see people living does not correlate with the numbers that we see. So I'm going to flush that down the toilet. I'm not going to sit here and give you numbers from the news or anything like that, because I think it's bullshit. I think people just figure out ways. They're hustling, and we know this is a hustler society here. People do what they got to do to make money, and that's how they survive. Because I was having that talk with a coworker of mine, and she was like, I go to the supermarket. She was like, listen, I got to spend like $10,000, $12,000 every time I go just to go, because I got 2 kids or whatever the case is. $4,000, $5,000 doesn't do shit. And I'm like, how do these people live? They live in an apartment. I know where they live. That apartment's probably like 26,000, 27,000 pesos a month or whatever. So when you add it up, when you add a person's lifestyle here, a car if they have it or whatever, they have to make way more than whatever medium income people are talking about here. So how do they do it? I don't know. Between their mesas, between multiple jobs, like I said, between multiple hustles, people are doing it. But the correlation is that if you're living well, if you live in a place like, oh no, you live in a place with a security gate and a security guard, and you have a car and you have a nice apartment, you're living like the US. That's bullshit. Not everybody here lives in the hood. Not everybody lives in shacks. Not everybody has their motorcycle in their living room. You go to Santiago, for example, and between 25,000 pesos, let's say, or even 20,000, I've seen a decent brand new apartment. Okay, maybe it doesn't have a pool, but it's 20,000 pesos. There are people here, a lot of middle class people that live decent. They have decent homes. They drive their car. They might have a pool. They might have that. This is not exclusive to the gated complexes in Punta Cana and the North Coast where the expats live. This is also a very Dominican thing. Keep in mind one thing. The older apartments all have maids' quarters. if everybody lived in a shack, why would so many 2 to 3, 4 bedroom apartments, whatever, have maids' quarters? Tons of apartments. Now they're building them less with that because people are having less maids now because I guess the economy sucks. But all the old apartments have maids' quarters. Let that sink in for a little bit. So if you come here and you say, well, a person says, I want to come to the Dominican Republic and I want to live a good life in the Dominican Republic. That's not saying I want to live an expat life in the Dominican Republic. No, I want to go to the Dominican Republic and I want to live like the middle class and up, because that's how they live. They live in decent areas. They have nice apartments. They have their car. They might have a pool. I know it's crazy. It might be like Florida. They might just have a decent lifestyle here. And there are a lot of people like that. And I can take you to hundreds of neighborhoods throughout the entire country where people live like that. But what happens is you have a bunch of expats that move into these little small towns and they don't know the country. They don't know what's going on in the Dominican Republic. They don't speak the language. They can't interact with middle class people enough. They don't have the language capacity, the intelligence, I don't know what it is, the social skills or whatever. So they're hanging out in barrios because that's all they know, and they think that's real life. And though, yes, everything is real life, doesn't matter where it is, it's real life, right? But they think that that's the only way the Dominican Republic is. And I can literally take you through every city in the Dominican Republic has its nice areas, its middle areas, its hood areas. Look at Higüey. You go into Higüey, there's a whole bunch of residentials there. On the other side, they build a whole bunch of stuff, and those people live really well. They don't live like expats. They live like middle-class Dominicans and up. It's not exclusive to us in North America and Europe to live well. People live all over Latin America well. All over Latin America, people live well. It's not an expat thing. They make it seem like, oh my God, you moved here and you have a nice place with a security guard and a pool. Oh, you're living like such a gringo. No, I live like a lot of other Dominican people that I know. Duh.